All right, gang, let's have some fun. Welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesday. Can you believe it? It's already the end of March. We'll be entering into what comes after March, April showers. We had a lot of showers here in California the last few weeks. Hopefully you guys are staying safe and dry out there yourselves. Welcome, I am Jason there on the left. We're lucky to be joined by David Rockland, the digital strategist, and so much more here at Brilliant Directories. David, thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Hey everybody, glad to be back with you for another webinar. We've got a great tip of the week and some great updates to share. So really looking forward to this one. We've got a lot of great stuff to show you all.
Yeah, the tip of the week should be really fun. We did cast a poll in the Facebook group. We got a mixed bag of SEO, how the leads module work. A lot of people were leaning towards seeing more automations with the webhooks and the API. So we're going to cover some fun stuff with that. And we are streaming on YouTube Live today, so Heidi Ho out there to YouTube land. We recommend joining our YouTube channel. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. You'll get pinged anytime we upload a new tip of the week, feature release videos, the webinars, and more. So we definitely hope that you can join us there at brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. And also one of the benefits of streaming on YouTube Live, the replay will be available immediately after, and we will be posting that in the Brilliant Directories Facebook group. I see a lot of people joining today who are part of the Facebook group, and if you're not, we encourage you and welcome you to join. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook and click on that blue join button. It's a great way to keep in touch in between Webinar Wednesdays. You can ask questions about your site, strategy questions, technical questions. I'm in there myself, and a lot of fellow BD website owners are in there helping each other. So it's a really positive and a productive place to be hanging out, especially if you're going to be on Facebook. And I do see a handful of new names and faces out there. Karen D, good to see you. Kelvin, I think I've seen you before, Kelvin. Jelani, nice to see you as well. Just a little bit about Webinar Wednesday. You know, the BD team is definitely busy pushing new updates into the platform, fixes, releases, and what have you. And Webinar Wednesday is really a great chance for us to share some of those updates with you, especially the ones that can provide you with actionable steps to help you grow your community quicker, more efficiently. And we'll cover topics such as how to increase website traffic, converting visitors to members, identifying revenue opportunities. One of my personal favorites is improving the website navigation. In today's tip of the week, we'll actually talk about how you can increase engagement and traffic back to your website as well. So if you have questions about your website, any of these topics, or anything related to membership websites or your BD website, please save them. We'll do our best to get to as many questions as we can today. All right, and before we dive into the tip of the week, I actually had to hold myself back a little bit. I was afraid there wasn't going to be a substantial amount, but we do have a good handful of BD Lab updates to share with you guys here today. So I'll try to breeze through these relatively quickly, and then we can dive into that tip of the week. The first one here is the new websites dashboard, where you can see all your BD websites that you manage. And more importantly, the real important part about this update was, you know, if you're purchasing add-ons for your site, before you had to wait for the BD support team to kind of process that order, now you can purchase your add-ons and add them to your sites instantly. So you get instant real-time delivery of your add-ons or anything you're purchasing from the Brilliant Directories website. Let me quickly show you what that looks like. I'm going to slide in a window here. Okay, great. So here we are. We're all familiar with the BD dashboard. We now have two links up here. I'll go to the first one here, manage websites. If you have add-ons you've purchased that are pending being assigned to a website that you have, you'll see this orange bell notification here. But everyone is going to have the manage websites button up there. And when we go there, and what we really like about this is going to evolve over time. So right now we give you a good snapshot of the websites you're managing and a quick snapshot of the status, how many members, the revenue, if there are any add-ons. And what I like the most is this screenshot here. More so than just being a pretty screenshot, it lets you know, it's a quick indicator if for any reason your website might be down or it's not able to retrieve the screenshot of your homepage. It's a quick indicator that you might need to take some action, check your domain setup and things like that. But here you can see all your websites. If you've made any recent license purchases, you can see them here in this other tab and you can activate them. What's also cool is if you're on a monthly plan or have a free trial, you can actually purchase a license and apply it to your free trial yourself. So you can keep that active. And then also if you have any add-ons or the VIP add-ons club, you can click to activate them and so forth. Let's see if I click this. So here it's going to give me options assigned to website that I own, and it's going to let me apply the add-on directly to the website that I want. Also here you can now view all your support tickets. And in addition to that, there are more button indicators to create a support ticket. We definitely want to help you guys out as soon as you have any questions. So this is a great place to come and create a support ticket, and our team will respond within 24 hours or sooner usually. So great update there. This next one is related to the Google login or sign up add-on. If you have the add-on where users can register to your site using their Google account, there was an update from Google. They pretty aggressively emailed anyone that had this set up to update the core code. BD has completed that. There's no action required by you on your Brilliant Directories website, I assume for the majority of users. So this will just work automatically. It's been updated in the core code, and your site, if you're using the Google sign up and Google login, should just continue to work as normal without interruption. All right, this next one here is related to the domain manager, also kind of like the snapshot on the home page and the website's dashboard. If you go to your domain manager, you'll now also see a snapshot of your homepage. Again, more so a very quick and easy indicator if you're working in the admin area, if there are any issues loading your homepage. If this screenshot is not here, that will let you know that you should take some action. There are other alerts as well in this area, but this is just a small visual update for you guys as well. All right, next one here is related to webhooks. If you're not familiar with webhooks, webhooks are a method to use where you can send data from your BD website out to third-party platforms. So webhooks are created for very specific instances, and there is a new webhook that supports the private member chat, the member-to-member chat message conversations. It can send that data out to a webhook, and today we're going to show you guys how to ping your members with an SMS text message when they receive a new chat message. So a little spoiler alert there. There is a new search option for your post search results, for blog search results, events, coupons, all of them. There are cases where you don't really want to show your sidebar on mobile devices. Sometimes the content is not relevant on such a small screen, and you just want to hide it so it doesn't cannibalize the page as mobile users are scrolling on their smartphones. Let me show you where that setting is and what that relates to. I'll just visit this site here, and we'll go to latest news, which is the blog articles here. So we see there is a sidebar here, and for some of us or many of us, there are important elements in the sidebar, the search module and what have you. But sometimes there are cases where it's kind of just bloat on a mobile device. So if we go to my content and edit post settings, and what's cool about this is you can set it per post type. We'll just choose this random one we created in a previous webinar, press releases. If you go to the search results design and go to additional settings, we'll scroll down just a little bit. So sidebar search module to use, here it is, sidebar position on mobile devices. So actually pretty cool. You can choose if your sidebar position is at above the main content on mobile, after and below it, or you can simply hide the sidebar. This is the new one here, hide the sidebar on mobile devices. So that should come in pretty handy for some of us out there. Okay, and this is a big one, especially if if you're in Australia or in New Zealand. So obviously BD supports capturing recurring payments, members who are on monthly plans or yearly plans and what have you. Up until now, those payments would be collected at a certain time based on server's time, the BD server's time. Now you can actually schedule what time of day based on your site's time zone that you want to collect those payments. So if a payment is due January 1st, you can schedule it to be collected at the stroke of midnight on January 1st, at the time of day. So let me show you where that setting is. And again, if you're in Australia or anywhere east of Europe, this setting will come in really handy for you guys and your BD site. So if we go back here and we want to go to settings, general settings, and this will be under the localization tab. So you have your primary country set, your language, your time format, date format, and here you set the time zone that your site should be based on. So in this sample site, it's Pacific time zone. I'm here in Los Angeles. And the hour of day, this is the new setting here, hour of day to collect recurring payments. So the issue was our friends in Australia and New Zealand, the recurring payments were being collected towards the end of the day instead of at the beginning of the day in their time zone. So I would recommend coming in here and you just choose an hour. And then the billing processes will be scheduled within the 1 hour of this time that you've set here. So, I think 1 a.m. is usually a good time based on someone's time zone, just somewhere earlier in the day with, an hour after the stroke of midnight is usually a good time to collect those payments. So feel free to edit this new setting as you see fit. And again, for our friends in Australia and New Zealand, I think this will come in very handy for you. All right, coming soon. A lot of post-related updates are coming soon. We recently released the ability to import posts, like you can import members with a CSV file. The ability to support images with your post imports is coming soon. It's one of the next ones in the QA list for us. And then right behind that one is even more exciting and important, the ability to import posts from feeds and third-party sources. So this is going to be an amazing way to populate your site from feeds and third-party sources, RSS feeds from other sources, so you can add blogs, events, and coupons to your site automatically using tools like Zapier or Pabbly and similar. In addition to that, if you do use the RSS feed for post add-on from Brilliant Directories, purposefully we did not include the posts image in the data for the XML RSS feed for that file, because there were conflict issues with some RSS readers. So what we're doing now is we're going to have an alternate secondary RSS feed URL that will include the post image data if it's available. And this is going to come in really handy because in a future webinar, we're going to show you how you can use your BD RSS feed to send emails to your members using those RSS feeds. So if members are subscribed to your site and you want to send them emails anytime an event is added to your site, you'll be able to utilize this. And of course, the post image data is available because you want something visual in those emails that go along with the post data. So excited for that. Also coming soon, the ability for you, the admin, to easily edit the join date of your members. Right now, there is no quick setting. The join date is automatically set by the system or when you import the members. So this will give you a little bit more flexibility to edit the members' join date. And in addition to that, I could have actually listed more. There's a lot of amazing things coming soon, but speed, a lot of security updates were released in the last couple weeks, and quality of life features as well. And thank you guys to the BD community and all your suggestions. We appreciate and love your support tickets when they come in. We know that means you're working hard on your website, and also gives us an opportunity to identify ways to improve the platform for everyone. So don't be shy, contact our team. We're always happy to hear from you guys. All right, David, let's move on over to the tip of the week. For this week's tip of the week, we are going to show something a little technical. I'd say it's easy to intermediate level, but we're going to show you exactly and explain to you the benefits of how to send SMS text notifications to your members using the member chat messages. So David, if it's all right with you, I can pass it on over.
Absolutely, thank you. We hear a lot from you guys that you want to be able to send text message notifications to your members, when something needs to be brought to their attention. We've covered a couple things in the past, but for this one, we thought it would be really beneficial to be able to send text message notifications to your members when they do receive brand new direct message or private member chat from another member on your website. So if we dive right on in, let's first cover kind of what happens by default now, and then what'll happen once we set up this integration. So for now, members can message each other. That does require the private member chat add-on. It basically just adds a DMing or a direct message feature so that individual members can message each other back and forth all on your website. And when that happens, your members will receive email notifications every time they receive a new message. So that does let them know that they got a new message and they need to log into their account to reply to it. That just comes to them as a normal email. So with this, when we send out an SMS text message to the members, it'll automatically get delivered to them as soon as they receive a new private message from another member. And we'll show within that text message, there'll be a link that they could just click on. It'll automatically log them in, and they'll be able to immediately reply to that message. So this is really convenient, obviously, for the members. Everybody pretty much, for the most part, has their phones either on them or nearby most of the time. So this should be able to alert your members a little bit quicker when they do receive new chat messages on your website and allow them to reply faster as well. So with that, going into the benefits of sending these SMS notifications to members when they do receive new messages on your website. Obviously, it'll get sent to them in real time, almost immediately as soon as they receive a new message from another member on your site. That'll help build stronger relationships, not only between your members, if they're able to have that conversation a little bit quicker and not always have to either be looking in their inbox or looking to see if they got a new email notification on their phone or something like that. It'll also help to boost traffic engagement and possibly even conversions if we're notifying members sooner that they've received brand new messages in their account on your site. They'll be able, like I said, to immediately click a link, log right in, and start carrying on that conversation. A couple quick stats that we found. The first one here, you will certainly be able to reach more members by sending a notification via text message rather than email. Email is still great, but 98% of users, huge number, actually do open and take a look at the text messages that they receive. Whereas, with a normal email, it's not uncommon for people to just quickly delete an email if they think it's not necessary, or maybe sometimes it might land in their spam folder and they might not see it that way. SMS messages, text messages, they also have 209% higher response rate than email. Again, just people always kind of having their phones nearby and always seeing the messages, rather than with an email, they might just take a look at the subject line and delete it without actually opening it, which is unfortunate if it does happen to be something that might be important. And then also with text messages, recipients typically do view and either reply or open those text messages within about a minute and a half of receiving them. Again, whereas with email, it depends if, some people might not have notifications turned on their phone for when they receive new emails. Some people might only be checking their inbox if they're on the computer or something like that. So being able to send these notifications over text message to the members will certainly help to notify them a little bit better and help them keep those conversations on your website going.
And I think one other benefit is it just makes your company look cool, and a lot bigger than it probably is. It seems that setting up something like this would require a lot of technical know-how, but actually with this, what you can do with BD and the tools that we're going to show you, you can really set this up in about 10 or 15 minutes. And it's just going to help your brand appear to be a lot bigger. And that helps with credibility, trustworthiness, and all those other cool things that you're looking to establish with your members and followers.
Absolutely. So before we dive into the step-by-step kind of showing how to set it up, first, quickly going over what you'll actually need to get this going. Obviously, you'll need a Brilliant Directories website. You'll need that private member chat add-on because that's what allows the members to have those live chat messages with one another directly on our site. We're also going to be using an integration tool. In this case, we're going to use Zapier. We've showcased Zapier a lot in previous videos as well as webinars, but you could also use something like Pabbly Connect or Integrately. There's quite a few of these webhook type automation platforms that you could use, but we'll be showing Zapier here. And also for the text message platform, we'll be showing Twilio. We've shown Twilio in, I believe, one other tip of the week previously, but there's a bunch of other text message platforms that you could use. TextMagic is one of the other most popular ones. And a few quick final things to note before we show how to set this up. So on your Brilliant Directories website, your members, they will need to enter their phone number. That phone number field, it's already a default field in the contact details form that they fill out. So as long as they put their phone number in there, we'll have their phone number that we can send text messages to. And then there's also an advanced setting in the admin area that you're going to want to enable. That advanced setting is enable login token link. That will allow us to send a login link to the member in the text message that they could just quickly tap on, and it'll immediately log them in to their account on our website. And then on Twilio, we will need a Twilio account with a balance of at least $20. With Twilio, each text message that we send costs about 0.008 cents. US cents. So for that $20 balance, that allows us to send about 2,500 text messages. And if any of our members decide, I'm just getting too many of these notifications, or I'm fine just getting the email notifications, if they don't want to receive those text messages anymore, they can just reply stop to any of those texts, and that will automatically opt them out of receiving future ones. And like we mentioned, you don't have to use Twilio. We've used it in the past. It's pretty straightforward, but there's a bunch of other platforms you could use like TextMagic, Simple Texting, ClickSend, and there's many others as well. And so Jason, if it's all right with you, I guess we'll go right on in and show the step-by-step kind of how to set this all up.
Yeah, let's do it. Again, guys, this is easy to intermediate. For those of you who may or may not be familiar with webhooks and Zapier and all that stuff. So we'll try to go step by step. We'll try to go not too slow, but if we skip over something, you can always watch the replay. And of course, you can ask questions in the Facebook group or to the BD support team as well. So before we get fully started with everything, I just wanted to quickly show you what the end result is that we can expect. So give me just a moment here to get my bearings. And let me show you what can happen here. I think, let me log in here. In the previous webinar, we showed you guys how to rig up your private chat as like a website support module here. Let's see here, support tickets. Yeah, we were doing some tests with the sample member, Edward Smith. We're the website support. Let's respond back to Edward Smith, who is a member on the site. And this is a webinar message. Check it out. So we're sending Edward a message. He's a regular member on the site. And what we have here is we've actually, for Edward, since we can't show a smartphone, we've actually connected this to just a Google Voice number here. And we just received a text message here. And it says right down here, we're doing some text, a website name, new message. This is a webinar message. Check it out. So this would come to Edward's smartphone here. And we have a reply here link. If we click this, this will actually log us into Edward's account. So he would be logged in on his smartphone and he can reply back to the support team and then continue the conversation. So this is really a good tool to keep your members chatting with each other on the go. And the reason I said this was so cool is because it really makes your site look like a more expensive website, like an Angie's List, a Thumbtack, or any one of those solutions where members can chat back and forth to each other and they get pinged on their phones on the go. I know I use those also with TaskRabbit and things like that. So just adds another level of development status to your site having this. So let's see how we rig this up. And we'll go step by step. The first thing is we did create a Zap. So if you're not familiar with Zapier, we've covered it in previous webinars, but let's quickly look at the Zap and then I'll recreate the Zap from scratch. So created a Zap, Twilio SMS messages for chat messages. And the first thing we did was we caught the webhook from the chat and then we said only continue if the recipient, the person receiving the message, has a phone number, and we'll show you that in a second. And then we kind of cleaned the message. Some of the messages had like HTML in them and things like that. So we kind of sanitized the message a few times. We'll get into that. We also made sure the phone number was in a format that our text message provider, Twilio, could use to send the text message. And then the BD login token URL is really long. So Zapier has a shortened URL, a shortener tool. So we shorten the URL. And then at the end, we send all of that magically using Twilio in a text message. I'll just open this one quickly. I'll just click edit, and then we'll recreate this from scratch. So the action here, the from number is the phone number Twilio gives you, and then we can see the message here. You could put your website name, new message, and then it uses the variables, the URL, the output, and things like that. So now that we kind of have like a 360 overlook of how this works, let's set this up from scratch on our BD site. Let me get out of here. And we're gonna start, and again, I'll try to do this relatively quickly so we can get to some questions at the end, but we're going to create a new Zap, and let's give it a nickname. We'll call this Webinar SMS Chats. So the first thing we wanna do is set up a trigger, and we're gonna start with a webhook. Webhooks by Zapier. And the event always, if you're doing this with your BD site, is the last option here, catch hook. And we're gonna continue. This step we can skip, pick off a child key. We don't need to do that. And it's gonna give us a URL, and we're gonna copy this. Click the copy button. We're gonna come to our BD site, and we're gonna go to our developer hub. And that URL that we just copied, we're gonna go to webhooks. And there's a quick filter here. You can search for chat. We already have in one from our previous test. I'll go ahead and delete that and paste the new one. And just make sure enable webhook is on. What this basically does is anytime there's a new chat message now, it's gonna send that chat message data into Zapier. So Zapier is collecting all that chat data, and then we're able to do something with it. So I'll go ahead and save these changes. Now that we've done that, let's actually send a test ticket here. This is a test chat message, we'll call it, and we'll send it. Great, so we sent a test message. Let's come back to Zapier, and we'll test the trigger to make sure the connection is capturing new messages here. And it has captured it from Edward Smith. Here it is. This is a test chat message, and we can see some HTML tags here. That was what I was talking about, sanitizing the text a little bit, so none of that shows in the final text message. So we'll go ahead and continue. Perfect. And actually, let's respond back to him. Let's respond back to Edward as the support, and I'll show you why. I want to make sure we have the recipient's phone number there. So I'm going to log in as website support. I'm just going to do another test. I want to make sure it's capturing it. So now we're logged in as website support. I want to make sure they got Edward's message. This is a test chat message, and I'm just going to reply back, awesome. Okay, great. I'm going to do another test with this. You can do if you're not seeing data that you're trying to see here, you can just keep doing multiple tests. We should receive request B now. Perfect, and here is awesome coming back. So we know that this is working really well, and there's a strong connection. So the next thing we want to do is actually the Zapier built-in tools. We're going to do a filter. We don't want to do anything unless the person who's receiving a message, being sent a message, has a phone number. So we're going to hit the filter button and only continue this Zap if the field, let's search for phone, the receiver's phone number, the recipient has a phone number. So the chat message receiver, and we're just going to say that a value exists for that. So basically only if the person has a phone number and it has found a phone number, so your Zap would have continued, will continue. Now, if Edward didn't have a phone number with his BD profile, then it wouldn't continue the Zap. It's not going to waste a text message attempt and so on. And maybe you can create an if-then branch. So if there is no phone number, maybe you want to send an email to the member like, hey, why don't you add a phone number on your account so you can receive text messages from our site. So turn it into a positive, bring the person back to the site. So now we have an if statement. Only if the recipient has a phone number do we want to continue. And now what we can do is we can start what David and I were having fun with before the webinar is actually cleaning up the message that came in, sanitizing it. So let's use the formatter. And what we're going to do, I'll just do this quickly. We're going to format some text and we're going to continue. And what do we want to do? The first thing we want to do, and search for HTML here, and you want to remove HTML tags. And from which value? Well, we want to remove it from the chat message. You see these P tags, those are paragraph tags. We want to remove that. And we'll go ahead and continue. Now, something Let's test the action. So this is the output. It looks like it didn't strip out the last part here. So if you see this stuff and it's not like perfect, just plain text, which happens sometimes, we're going to share this with the BD team. But if it does happen in anything that you're doing in Zapier or Pabbly, what you could do is just create another text format rule. Let's scroll down here. So we're going to format and we're going to do text. And what we want to do in this case is replace text. And from which field? Now, you don't want to go back to the original field. You want to do it from this step 3 field. So you want to replace from text that's already been formatted. And here it is, we want to format this text from step 3. And we're going to find this and replace it with nothing. Let's continue and test the action. Great. Now we just have a message that says awesome. So that part's done. This is sometimes necessary when you're using these tools. And the next thing we're actually going to do is format the phone number, right, David? And then the URL shortener, I think.
Correct.
Okay, great. So we're going to continue back down here. We're going to click once again on formatter. And if the phone number is coming perfectly from your BD site, and we do have like a phone number field that allows for the country code with the plus sign and everything, that's what these SMS text tools usually need, is like a +1 for the United States, +44 for the UK, etc. In this case, we just want to make sure that to format numbers that our members may have entered. So we'll hit the numbers option here and we'll continue. And what we want to transform is the phone number. We want to format phone numbers. And the input is going to be from the original webhook data. And we see, scroll down, there was a phone number here. This is our member Edward's phone number, but that's the field. And then it asks us what format do we want to use. So the international format seems to work fine. And if you choose the international format, you can choose the default country. Another note, this probably will work best if your website serves a specific country and is not necessarily international. It can get a little hairy with these solutions if it's trying to send text messages to different country codes and things like that. What we did see is this works fine with US, Mexico, UK, Canada, and other countries like that, but just check the solution like TextMagic and Twilio and see what countries they support, or you'll be able to find another texting solution that does support sending text to your country code. And let's just continue here. So time format international, that's going to add a +1 to it, and it's going to use United States if it doesn't exist. So let's test the action. Okay, great. It transformed our phone number and it's added a +1 and put it in a clean format so that Twilio will be able to successfully deliver the text message to the recipient. Okay, and then the last formatter thing we want to do, and open this up and search for URL shortener by Zapier. That's what we want to search for the action. And now it's going to ask us what the event is shorten URL. And then which field do we want to shorten the URL of? And we want to shorten the recipient's login token link. So chat message receiver link, that is the one. That's the person. This is going to be the receiver's login link, the recipient's login link. So we're going to do that. And we can see it's a very long URL. And let's see what that shortens to. Let's continue and test action, this long URL here. And it's shortened it down to just so it's created a nice little, so that we know that it's going to get delivered in the text message, because text messages can only support a certain amount of text. So we've done a little bit of formatting here for the phone number, the message, we've removed the HTML tags, and we've also shortened the URL. Yeah.
I think it's important real quick just to reinforce when shortening the URL to select that receiver's link and not the sender, because then you're going to have people logging into the wrong account.
Yes. This is all for the receiver, the recipient that we're sending a text message to. The person who sent the message already knows they sent a message. They're not waiting for a reply back. They're already in the chat. So this is all for the receiver and recipient who is receiving a new message ping. So good notice there, good point there. And that's going to come into play in the last step here is we're going to choose what tool we want to use to send the SMS text message. In this case, we're going to use Twilio. So under actions, we're going to search for let me just do this first. If you search for SMS, there are a ton of SMS tools: Burst SMS, Sakari, TextMagic, ClickSend. SMS by Zapier will send you a text message, not third parties, but these other ones will. And if we also search for text, we see simple texting. So I think you should be able to find one that suits your website and business's needs. In our case, Twilio works just fine. So there are steps to connect a Twilio account. If it's not connected, you can just follow those steps. It asks you to connect your API key and something called an SD ID. They provide you very simple instructions, and then your Twilio account is hooked up to the Zap. In this case, what we want to do is send a message, send an SMS, excuse me, and we'll continue. And the from number is your Twilio number that they give you. I'm sure TextMagic and all the other texting solutions have to give you an origin phone number that you own. So in this case, this is our sample number from Twilio. Alphanumeric sender ID, actually, we don't know what that is, and we didn't need to use that in this case. The to number is going to be the phone number that we formatted. So if we scroll down here, we don't want to get the phone number from the catch hook. We want to get it from the number that's been formatted here, step 5 here. And we can see the output is that +1 with that country code there, which Twilio requires. And then for the message, the fun part. So you could put really whatever you want in this message. Probably short and concise would be best. You may want to mention your website name since it's coming from a phone number that the recipient may not be familiar with. So we can do, dog trainers USA, whatever it might be, and then just say new message, colon, and we'll go to the next line, and we want to insert, oh, there was one formatter we forgot, David. Let's add it in actually. So there was one more thing. In the event that somebody is sending somebody a long message, we can actually truncate or shorten the message so that their phone doesn't get blown up with 8 paragraphs of text. So actually, what we wanted to do is we removed the HTML from the message and any foreign, we did the replace as well. What we want to do is add one more formatter here, and that's to truncate or shorten the message that we just sanitized, that we just removed the HTML from. So let's go to formatter, and event is text, and it's called truncate, and you'll see what this does. It's really cool. And then which value do we want to truncate? We want to truncate step 4 above the awesome. Now, awesome itself is a short message, but again, it could be 8 paragraphs long what someone is sending. So max length, we did some tests, 40 is fine. You could probably go a little bit more, but we'll just do 40. And then if it's longer, you can choose to add an ellipses after it. Whoops. So you can choose true here, and it'll just put a ... And let's continue, and let's do a test. So this is obviously a short message, it just says awesome. So in this case, there's no ellipses, it just says awesome. But again, if it was 9 paragraphs long, it would just show 40 characters and then ... which is good for a text message. So let's hit continue here. All right, and everything else is the same. Let's get back to our send SMS message. Right. So we are under actions. So we did the from number, it's our Twilio phone number. Now the to number is that sanitized phone number that adds the +1, and here's the message. So dog trainers USA, new message. And what we want is to insert the data from our last text formatter, the one that we just truncated, the awesome. This is the one that does the ... And then lastly, the cool part, we can say reply here and input the shortened URL right there. Let's see if that gets added. Let's add this in right there, perfect. So that is what the text message will look like. We can even do, let's do new message from, and we'll put chat so they know they're in a chat. Perfect. And don't know what a media URL is, and we're not sending large messages, so we'll just continue. That's basically all we need to do. And we can do a test, just test the action. Okay, it says it was sent from Twilio about 2 seconds ago. If we come back to our inbox here, we can see new message from dog trainer. I should remove the colon there. From dog trainers USA chat, awesome. And if I click this, Edward will be prompted to log into his account. So that's really cool. And that's basically the whole setup, David. Anything, you just publish the Zap and you're good to go.
Yeah, that would be it. What you could also add into the message at the very end, you could add in reply stop to opt out if you just want to remind members that they could always opt out if they don't want to keep receiving these. And then your Twilio account, you would stop sending unnecessary text messages since they do cost 0.008 cents each.
Right. So you could do like reply stop to opt out messaging of text messages. Right, you can add this there, right? And it would do that. And different texting solutions like TextMagic, they might have a different command to stop the text messages. Let's continue here. Let's do another test. All right, and let's go back here. Here it says new message from Dog Trainers USA chat. Awesome. Respond here. You can even put the person's name who sent it because it is technically included in the data. So like new message from David Rockland, it's because the recipient's name is part of the data. That's probably even better. And then we see the reply stop to opt out from text messages. So super cool there. If you have the private member chat add-on, definitely recommend this. And whenever a recipient gets a new message, they're going to get pinged on their phone. And of course, they're going to come back to your site, increases traffic, makes you look more professional, and tons more benefits. So if you guys have any questions about that tip of the week, we can also move on to the Q&A section of the webinar, and we could take any questions that you guys have about your own websites or about membership sites in general. Let's start with Rich here at the top. Unmute your mic there, Rich. How you doing?
Hey, Jason. Can you hear me?
Yep. How's it going?
Okay, cool, great. Hey, yeah, this is phenomenal. I know you guys released the one of the features to add the international codes a while back to allow this this feature to work. What are some best practices examples? I mean, so this is member to member, but also we can communicate a DM, if you will, via text to a member as well.
Yeah, that's basically what it would do. Is it's basically sending DMs to your members, and then they'll get pinged via email on the website and with this workflow in a text message.
Can it be set up automated when they get a lead?
Yeah. Yes, I love that you asked that. The same logic can be used because there is a webhook for leads. Let's go there together, actually. I love that you asked that. If you go to WEBHOOKS and let's look for leads.
Because I think while you're looking for that, I think that's one of our biggest challenges. We call a lead a podcast guest booking request, but I see so many people, it goes to their email, and I think people just don't pay attention to their email. But if they got a text like, hey, I got an opportunity to be interviewed on a podcast, or would more likely respond to it.
And let me show you something that we did mention earlier. If you want the login link to work, go to your advanced settings. Because for security, you may not want this, but if you're going to allow this, it's a pretty cool thing. Enable login token link. It allows that link to automatically log the member into their account, so they're not prompted to put their username and password all over again. If you trust that you're sending it to their device, then it should be fine. So just make sure that's enabled.
Would there be a use case for like event reminders? Or we just manually send that out to, hey, there's an event coming this week. Can you do a text blast to, hold like a smart list of members? Or right now it's set for one-to-one messaging?
Yeah, right now it's one-to-one.
Because there's a balance across the line of spamming versus communicating, I guess.
Well, it's not that much of a stretch. Later this year, we're going to allow the ability to follow a post. Right now, it could be it's liking a post, but with that later, what you'll be able to do, and when I say later, probably about like 3 or 4 months, visitors can follow a post, and if it's an event and it has like an upcoming start date, you could create a workflow where if the start date is within like 3 days or something, send a reminder email to people who have followed that post. I could foresee something like that existing in the future.
That'd be awesome with
some of that logic.
Because we host community events with our members twice a month. We get a lot of RSVPs, but they don't get reminders. So we get not as many members showing up. And we actually had members from our interns sending out DMs. They said, hey, I'd like to get a reminder. We don't really have a system in place for that, but this is phenomenal. I'll go back on mute or you go into the next person. But this is just phenomenal to be able to, like you said, makes it sound bigger than we are, plus more user friendly. People are on their phones, and if they get a lead or an opportunity, then they can, especially if you send a lead, Jason, and it comes to me, and I respond in real time, that communication is going to happen rather than I read the email, next week or tomorrow or something. Yeah.
Absolutely. I use the app OfferUp, which is like a newer Craigslist kind of for classifieds, and I'm chatting back and forth directly with someone, and I get text notifications if hours go by and I'm not on the app anymore, and it just brings me right back in. And I'm excited to get those because I'm trying to negotiate for a pair of Air Jordans or something. But yeah, it's definitely good, and like you said, it makes the company look a lot bigger than it is, and it's something that could be set up in less than 15 minutes. So yeah, thank you for the questions, Rich. All right, good stuff there from our friend Rich. Do see a few other hands up here. Terry, how you doing? Looks like you're self-muted there.
How's that? Can you hear me now?
Fantastic. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you, mate. Very well indeed. Quick question. With the sidebar in mobile view, where you can either hide it or you can have it display at the top or the bottom, what I've just implemented it to display in the search results at the top, and what I've noticed is that it also displays at the top inside the post single page. And what I wanted it to be on the top in the search results, but on the bottom in the actual post itself. Is there any way of doing that?
Yes, there's actually a follow-up update coming where you'll be able to have separate settings for the post detail page, and you can choose out of those three: top, bottom, or hide.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it. Fantastic.
You're welcome. Yeah, we'll mention in a webinar when that's available. What's that?
Any idea when that's happening?
I think it'll be happening sometime in April. So next month it should be released. Yeah.
Terrific. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome. Glad that you're using that feature. All right, we got our good friend Tim. I saw your hand up there. Oh, there you go. Let me call on you. How you doing, Tim?
Hey, Jason. How are you?
Pretty good.
So I've missed a few webinars here and there and whatnot. How long have we had those magic links for?
Which magic links? The login.
The login tokens.
I think for always almost, I believe.
So can we use those in other ways, like get a hold of them and like it says in there that you can use them in emails. Well, can we literally generate one and send one to people?
Yeah, let's check out the email. Let's check it out together real quick. Let's go to email templates and let's see if the variable is there. You can build a link to your site and then to the members thing. Let's just check. We're going to add a token here. One place you may be able to fetch it, I'm not seeing it here. Let me just search for login. I have another place to go for you. This is data from the member, where you might be able to just copy and paste it from and test it if you want. Look at your welcome basic email template. I'll share this with you, the welcome basic. And this confirmation link, check that out and see if that works there. If you grab this and send it, that may log the user in directly. Just make sure that setting is enabled.
Okay. Wow, fascinating stuff. I had no idea.
Yeah, so that could be used in lead emails, so they can get logged in and purchase a lead directly from an email notification or text. If they receive a review and they want to go in and look at the review, if some members have the ability to kind of moderate or reply to reviews, so you can create that login link for that. So just test it out, and again, just make sure that I'll share this. Make sure this advanced setting is enabled so that the link does the function of actually logging the user in when they click their special token link.
Right. Okay, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, great question there. All right, we got our friend VJ here. Let me unmute your mic, VJ. There you go. Looks like you're self-muted, VJ.
Is that better?
There you go. How are you, VJ? Where are you calling in from?
Calling from New Zealand. How are you?
Oh, very good. Great.
A while since I've been on Wednesdays.
Welcome.
So, yeah, my question is just regarding photo albums and photos for profiles. What we're trying to do, I put a post in the group yesterday, is display the album on the actual profile page rather than photo albums.
Okay, display the album and all its images.
Yeah, so I'll post a link inside at the moment in the chat box for one of the pages we've got.
Okay, let's check it out. I think I got it here, just a moment.
Okay, so at the moment, so like obviously we can have tabbed view or the other view. We wanted to use the other view, but we want the next page, if you click on that page there, that one, yep, rather than albums, just the actual album on the page. So that would be on that last page, if that makes sense. So you members, like images are a big part of our site.
Got you. Well, I'll tell you what you can do without any custom coding to start. You may know the answer already. What you could do is this without anything custom. Let me just show you real quick. Let's go to Photo Gallery here. This is the demo site. And let's go to Jennifer Consulting. And if we go to the Photo Albums tab, you can stream the thumbnails here with this. And that is an add-on. It's like it's an album preview carousel. If you wanted to do something more than that, like you want the thumbnails underneath it as well?
Yeah, so we want the gallery to be part of the profile listing, not under albums. So as an example, I put it in the BD group yesterday. So like if you actually go on the profile, I've kind of done it. I'm trying to do a workaround. I've actually just proposed as part of the about, but I did that just with a table and put the images in, but they're not click to enlarge. And obviously that has to be done by me rather than them.
Got you. There is something else you can do. So you don't want them to have to go to the photo album tab, right?
Exactly.
There is
like
one, right?
If I didn't have tabbed view, so
there is a way. Yeah, there is a way to do that, to get rid of the tab view. Again, I'm going to show you options without any custom coding for settings that can help you achieve this potentially. So what you can do is under Design Settings, Member Profile Pages, display content in tab layout, you can say no stream all content without tabs. And you're familiar with that, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So we're going to do that anyway, but what we want is rather than albums, the actual album. So at the moment you've got photo albums. What we wanted was just photo album or gallery, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. And what happens when someone has multiple photo albums with multiple images in each gallery? It would show all the images and it would, you know what I mean?
Yeah, our members don't have multiple albums, so they would just have one gallery. So for example, if there was a post type for rather than photo albums, just photo album.
Got it. Let me check one thing for you. I may have a solution. I may have a small, maybe a solution for you. Let me check something. What you may be able to do, and let me just check.
Because it kind of like is in the code for the property listing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the property module works, but we want to bring it to an actual listing.
Gotcha. Yeah, see, so what you can do if you really, again, this is going to get into custom coding here, is this, you can use this slider thing, okay? And what we can do is increase the width to be like 100% width. And with some CSS, you could then, if you get rid of the tabs and then you do it this way, you could do this. And then lastly, if you wanted to really pop them up, again, we're getting into a little bit of, we have a tool that can pop up images. It's a little bit of jQuery that when you click on an image, it'll pop it up on the screen. So like with a little bit of CSS and that jQuery, you can modify this to be, I guess, closer to what you're after with the photo album, one photo album that they have showing all the thumbnails, but there isn't anything right now without some custom code.
If we do it manually, I know that on pages where there's an option where you can click to enlarge image. Is that
That's what I'm referring to. So if we do that little jQuery to click to enlarge the image and something that'll show all the thumbnails like this, it may get you closer. I don't usually like to send you down this route, but maybe the marketplace, someone from the marketplace can help you get the exact way that you want it. And it seems pretty straightforward since we're just dealing with photos here. If you don't know how to do the custom CSS and that little bit of jQuery to get the whole photo album to display like that, it may be worth reaching out to someone here. So you can see in a few moments I was kind of getting there quickly with it needs a little more modification but just to get it the way you want it, since it's important to your business model, it might be worth the investment with thing. And I don't expect it to be something that's gonna be too much of a burden financially to get that done for you.
Gotcha. Is there an option to do click to enlarge site-wide for photos? Because I know there's an option inside Pages.
Yes, there is. I have that jQuery that you could just drop in your design settings, the footer code of your design settings, and it would apply to all images on your site. If you want to post that in the Facebook group, I can fetch that and then you can add it to your site for yourself. All right. I know it's not the ideal answer you're looking for, but we'll try to get you in the right direction.
Cool.
All right, thank you, VJ. Let's take a look at VJ's site real quick since he was nice enough to share it with us. Event planner here, find venues and event services. Nice and simple. I know it's a pretty established site, so getting it the way you need it is important. Thank you for sharing your site with us. All right, let's see who else has their hands up here. All right, we got our friend John. Actually, John typed in his message. He said, multi-state/city media site. What is possible to creating a local user experience where visitors only see information for the area they are in? Thank you very much. Actually, I do have a solution for you. It's a little tough because if your site is attracting people from all over the country or all over the world, we don't want to send them to a page that says we have no listings for you in your area. But what you may want to use, John, and I'll show you real quick, is let me go to the Brilliant Directories site. Again, something you can do without any custom coding is use the global website search on your site. And what you can do is you can ask the visitor on the home page or wherever they're landing first, like what area do you want to search, or however you want to word that. And they enter their location in the location field and hit enter. And when they hit enter with the global website search, it's not just going to find members that match that location, it's going to find any piece of content that matches that location search on your site, whether it be events, coupons and deals, any type of post, property listings. So without any custom coding, I would recommend using the global website search. And when you have that, if you go to your design settings, John, and there's also a sidebar search module, so maybe you want to pop this in on the sidebar or in the header, there's a header search module as well. But if we go to homepage and go to search box and search for global, so you can have a global website search for, I see there's one for keyword and location. I'm going to make a note here. You could just choose keyword and location and people could just search their location plus a keyword or leave it empty, but I'm going to ask the team to create a third one here for just location only. But that would allow users to input a location and then conduct a search, and a lot of more flexibility with that as well. There is another add-on, the detect visitor location add-on, which fetches the user's location if they want to share it with the browser. There's security implications with that now, that the user has to consent to sharing their IP location with the website. But with the detect visitor location, the visitor can just consent to sharing their IP's location, and that will automatically fill in the location search field for them. So you can get there without any custom coding or anything. With just those tools, you can probably get 80% of what you're looking for. I'm just going to put a note here, the global website search, location only search module. All right, thank you for that question, John. And I do see Flavio. How you doing, Flavio?
All right. Hi, Jason. I'm doing good. Thank you. I'm calling from Vancouver, Canada.
All right.
Let's see. My question is related to photos as well. So I know that FTP is no questions. It's a security problem, and I totally agree with you. But you used to allow us to have like a browser-based kind of file manager from the cPanel, and I know that disappeared as well. I'm not asking for a file manager per se, but I would like to be able to upload images in bulk, because a lot of your scripts save images or photos or member profile photos in certain directories that have nothing to do with the media folders that we create. It's something internal there in your public HTML section there. So I don't know, I just sometimes want to upload thousands of images, and your browser, your admin panel allows you to do like 100 at a time, and it's impossible. So the file manager used to allow me to do that in bulk, but now I don't know how to do it. So I'm not asking for the file manager. I'm asking a way to do some sort of uploads in those specific folders that seems that your scripts need.
Gotcha. Understood. Yeah, I think with the upload, it's not necessarily the number of images. I think it's like up to 50 megabytes per batch. I could be wrong about that, or there might be a finite number. It sounds like you do understand that you can upload multiple images at a time here. Yeah, the team has.
What you're showing right now, I'm wondering if this, if I upload members from a CSV file, if putting their photos in here where you're showing.
No, okay, so when you're importing members with your CSV file, you want to add that to the CSV file here. So you can import members with
the photo.
The photo needs to exist somewhere online already. So if you need to upload them to your media manager first to then associate them with your import file, you would want to make the URL something that you can repeat very easily for your members.
Gotcha.
So it would be like your website /images / make a folder called like pending import, and then / add the images there, and just make the images something that corresponds to how you're importing them. It could be the member ID number, .jpg, and that way you can quickly update your import file, and it'll correspond to the images you've added to your media manager. Let me share this with you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so let me share this with you. Yeah, I know there's a I mean, with thousands of images, that's just heavy for any system like this, but this should help you get a little closer there. You might want to start with a small batch of maybe 5 members and 5 images and see if you can make that connection between the media manager source URL, the URL of the image in the media manager, and then adding that into the import file.
That makes sense. I'm gonna try that.
Okay, Flavio, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff there. All right, guys. Well, fantastic webinar today. If you were interested in setting up the SMS text messages for the member chats, the replay will be available in the Facebook group shortly after this webinar. So again, thank you guys for staying with us through the webinar. Please join our Facebook group, brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. We'll post the YouTube replay there. And also remember to go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are entering April. March, April, May, the year is flying by so quickly. On behalf of myself, Jason, and David, the next webinar is in 2 weeks. We are grateful for you. We love you guys, and we look forward to seeing you in the next webinar. Have a great day and a brilliant week. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.